now I just cannot see a damn thing here. I absolutely cannot see anything. I'm literally doing 40 kilometers an hour, and even that is feeling like too fast. The bike feels like it's going to stall. Wow. Are we having fun yet? Hi caramba, this is out of control. I can't see a damn thing. Oh man. Get me out of here. I'm dropping the F-bomb because I am just so cold and I can't see a damn thing. Well guys, that was quite eventful. So we just finally dropped out of the mist there. We were going to stop in Mount Hotham, but it was just so cold and wet. We just decided to keep rolling. Apologies for the sound. I've actually got my visor open, as you can probably see on the camera, because I made the mistake of leaving it open too far and the inside got full of mist or full of rain. I should have kept it down because I've got a pin lock, but anyway, you live and learn. So I'm just gonna have to ride with it as it is for now, and then when we stop and find a cafe, I'll dry it all out. You can see we've got spots of mist everywhere. It really wasn't worth running the GoPro much longer up there. You really just could not see 10 meters in front of you. Even at 40 kilometers you were just sort of going too fast really. So again, apologies for the wind noise. But the scenery is magnificent. As soon as I got clear of the fog or the mist, I just had to stop and put the GoPro on. So I've got the visor down a little bit, which has probably improved the sound a touch, but it's quite difficult to see. So we might just have to keep flipping it up and down. But you know what, don't let the fog and the mist put you off. You know, if you look to my right there, the scenery is epic. You know, you're right up in the mountains there, and you know, you should expect to get that type of weather in autumn. We're actually climbing back up in temperature now as we drop into the valley. I'm up to 11, which you know, doesn't sound very much, but when you've been down at 5, it's quite toasty. Thank you, Peter. So we actually stopped at the side of the road, and the wind was absolutely whipping over the ridge, and it was called Blowhard Hut. and it certainly did. It was really battering us sideways there. I managed to dig out my winter gloves, or actually my sort of thicker summer gloves, and my hands are toasty again now, whereas before I was really starting to feel cold in my fingertips. It's actually not been, we lost the back end a touch there. It's actually not been as wet as I anticipated or expected. We haven't had too much rain. It was really just the mist up in the mountain there. For the most, we've had some, you know, quite dry weather really. The odd spots of rain. Oh, that's a sharp switch back there. Oh, bad skills. I was sort of mid-corner and didn't want to drop down a gear, and didn't want to use too much brakes either. I think I'll try it with my visor up. Sorry, it's just easier to see. Peter's decided to pull in for a sec. Oh, and I don't blame him. Look at that scenery. Well guys, quite an eventful day. Finally dropped down out of the fog or the mist. Pulled over to take a few photographs. I'll drop those in as stills, and wiped off the visor, dried everything out, switched the camera battery over, and I've dropped on the 360 camera, so I'm going to turn that on when I can get a clear stretch of road, and I can have a fiddle with it. But again, dropping down through fantastic scenery, quite tight roads, a little bit slippy because it's wet, so have to be a bit careful. Might try and stay on my side of the road. So that should be rolling now, the 360 should be rolling. I haven't used it as yet. My good friend Julio lent it to me, and it's the first time on the bike, so I haven't looked at any footage, so that's going to be quite interesting to see what that looks like. I have seen footage from a 360 camera on a bike. I saw that people mount it right up on the top of the head, which it would look like a Teletubby in my opinion, with that thing stuck on top of your head, so won't bother with that. Okay, so we're dropping down into a little town called Harrietville. We're back up to 13 degrees. We're going to look for a bakery, I think. Oh, what's the goal, Peter? Yes, mate. Yes, do it, do it, do it.
You want it up here or you want to go to Brighton?
Why are you even asking, mate? Just go. So we're back on the road again, guys. We just stopped in Harrietville for what must be the world's most expensive steak sandwich, but I have to say it was the best steak sandwich I've ever had. So that was at a place called the Snowline Hotel, and we had a nice little IPA, small schooner of IPA. If you don't know what a schooner is, very Australian. So it's smaller than a pint but bigger than a half pint, or a half pint is called a pot in Melbourne. So we had a nice schooner of IPA, Indian Pale Ale, with a steak sandwich. Again, very, very good steak sandwich. In that time we went from sunny to rainy, a little bit of sun breaking through, but still great weather and still a great adventure. We're on adventure bikes, you know, it's all about the adventure. Anyway, as you can see, fantastic area, tree lined, amazing place. You got some nice winter colour there from more European trees. Really has been a fantastic day, a fantastic 2 days, should I say. I mean, even the half an hour to an hour right up at the top of the mountain in the fog, you know, it was still great fun. It's just a shame that we couldn't see the view from the top of the mountain, but it's so close to where we live that, you know, we'll be back many times. Maybe next time we'll choose something slap bang in the middle of summer rather than autumn. So we've got a sign there, Myrtleford. I don't know what that's named after. I'll maybe try and look that up, and if I do look it up, I'll put it up somewhere here. But it's about 53 kilometres to Myrtleford, and that's where we're headed now. So as I said, sun's starting to break through a little bit. We've still got a bit of low-lying clouds. Now we're back down towards the valley floor. It's nice and clear. If you can catch it up on the GoPro, you can see there up into the mountains that the mountains will still be full of mist. So the option to sit up there and wait it out, which just wouldn't work anyway. So a leisurely pace back to Myrtleford. 52, how you going? 53 kilometres. Nice and steady pace. It's only 1:30. We're in no real rush to get there. I spoke too soon. Yes, we're getting some bright spots of sunshine, but we also got the rain coming through a little bit. Although it's back to 15 degrees, which is not that hot, but compared to the 5 degrees, it's very, very comfortable. If I take a look over to my right for the GoPro, then you should be able to see the cloud that's just hanging on top of the gum trees there on the side of the mountain. So typically, guys, we stop to admire the view. There's a scenic lookout that looks down the valley there. Thankfully, we got a couple of shots in before the mist came in, and in came the rain. I'll put a panoramic view up here somewhere. Hopefully, we're back into rain. So we're actually on the road to Mount Beauty. We're taking a slight detour. We're staying in Myrtleford tonight, and we were only about, say, half an hour away, and it was about 2 o'clock, and there's little point getting there so early. We might as well make the most of these good roads, even though it is raining. We might as well do that. If we get to Myrtleford too early, we'll be in the pub too early, and you can write the story on that one. So we'll do a bit more riding, and hopefully this rain will clear up. Hopefully the view will come back as we head up to Mount Beauty. And just on the left here, we're going past Sullivan's Lookout. Okay, now then, what we got? Well, there wasn't much point stopping because of the mist there, and similar view to where we just stopped and took some photos. Well, the rain's coming down quite heavily now, as you can probably hear on my visor, but it's still quite warm. We always knew we were going to get wet this weekend, but we'd already booked some time off work, and just thought we'd go with it. It's that time of year where, you know, it starts to get much wetter and colder. Quite a tight bend there. Wow, here comes the rain. It's really going to come down now. Yes. Hopefully you're getting this on the GoPro. If it's still working, it's supposed to be waterproof. The problem is with this GoPro is I have to take the side door off to use a microphone, external microphone adapter. A few guys coming through. The problem is, as I said, with the GoPro you have to take the side door off to use the mic adapter, which then lessens the waterproofing. I just have to crack the visor here because I'm getting steamed up a bit. Wow, this rain's quite hard now. If there was somewhere sheltered, I would stop and get under it, but and actually, if you look through the trees there, down into the valley, it's actually nice and sunny. So hopefully we'll dry off a bit. Not entirely sure what the altitude of that lookout point was, but it must be reasonably high, because as we drop down into the valley I've just felt my ears pop. There are some real tight corners or curves. Reduce speed now, obviously a reason for that. Ah, there we go. It's a very tight 30 km/h switchback. Wow, that is tight. Whee, but good fun. I wonder if anyone's ever tried to invent a windscreen wiper for a visor. Can you imagine that thing flicking away in front of your eyes? So Mount Beauty and Falls Creek signposted to the right there. Now if you don't know it, Falls Creek is actually sorry, excuse my language, I'll have to beep that out. Falls Creek is actually a ski resort. So in the height of winter, when the news broadcasters, you know, come in from somewhere, Falls Creek is one of the ones that they usually broadcast from. Wow, it's really hammering down now. Are you gonna stop or not? Well, thanks for sticking along with us, guys. As you can see, it is very wet now. I'm actually not too wet myself. There's a lot of rain coming down, but this jacket's working quite well. This is the Adventure X jacket. We took a slight detour over to Mount Beauty, and we dropped down into the town of Mount Beauty, which is a little bit of a weird name really, because it's in a valley. So I don't know why it's called Mount Beauty. Maybe it's the nearest town to Mount Beauty. If you catch my drift. So from there, we've rather than go back over the same way, we've gone southbound, and we're now going back over the hills to join the B500 again, and then we'll hang a right and head off into Myrtleford. I would say we're probably about 40 minutes away from Myrtleford, and that's going to be the end of our day 2. As I said, we booked a hotel in advance, so I'm extremely glad that we decided to do that, and that will allow us to dry out all our gear and give us somewhere nice and dry to sleep tonight. My tent actually stood up to it quite well last night. We had no rain, lots of dew, and my tent's a Vango Pulsar 300 plus, and if you haven't watched any of my videos before, you'll know that you won't know, so I'll tell you now. It's actually a Vango is a tent designed in the UK or Britain. Obviously everything's made in China though, but it's a proper mountaineering tent, so it's designed for the Scottish Islands and for the Alpine regions of Europe. So it's a great tent, it really is. It packs up light, but it's quite spacious. Well, if you can read the sign, you'll see that we're just rolling up into Myrtleford. It's probably so on my left there, well, we've actually got our tobacco drying sheds. Now Peter was telling me that a lot of Italians that moved out over here set up small tobacco farms. I don't know if that's the right word for them. Farms, plantations perhaps, for tobacco. I never actually knew that. So that's quite interesting actually. So as I was saying, sorry, little segue, we're rolling into Myrtleford. The sun is shining on us now and we're starting to dry out a little bit. It has been a bit of a damp day, but it's not sort of dampened our spirits. It's been a fantastic day. I'm so glad we made the trip. And there's another tobacco shed over to the left hand side there. I've been through here many times but never realised what they were actually for. I just thought they were, you know, some random shed. So autumn is really bringing out the colours in the trees, if you can see them on the right there. They're obviously European trees. To have those sorts of colours, you don't tend to get that with the Aussie red gums as such, and they tend to be green all year round. Yeah, without getting political, there has been a movement to pull out all the European trees that were planted when the early colonists moved out here, but I think that's a big mistake personally. You know, and if an oak tree's been there for a couple of 100 years, then you shouldn't be cutting the damn thing down. We're going to Bonnydoon. Heated grips on, and away we go. Whoa! Got a bit of firewood on there. Well, good morning, guys. So that was the Railway Hotel in Myrtleford. What a fantastic night we had last night. We gave the locals a good run for their money. We ended up in the Buffalo Hotel or something like that. Great night, absolutely great night. So now Sunday morning, it's quite cool, 11 degrees, but no rain forecasted. We were as damp as squids, as they say, when we got to the hotel, and I have to say it was very, very welcome to have a dry spot. So if you're ever out on a bike and you're wet through and you get to a hotel, here's a tip for you: crank up the heat as high as you can get it like a sauna, and lay out all your stuff. Hang your jackets and gloves underneath the split system or whatever heater there is in the room, and leave it all there and leave it cranky and go to the pub and have some dinner, and you get back and now all our stuff's all dried out and nice and warm and toasty. So day 3, as I ramble on, we're heading north from Myrtleford slightly, and then we hang a left towards Bonnie Doon. Bonnie Doon is famous from the great Aussie movie The Castle. It's a really funny movie. Probably won't be able to get hold of it in the UK, but maybe look it up on YouTube. If you want to know about Aussie culture and real people, look up The Castle. You just cannot beat it, mate. So from Bonnie Doon we'll go down through York, Y-A-R-C-K, and the common thing to say is, where York is York. Alright, so apologies for the language, but has to be said when you go into York. From York, I think we'll head down towards Yea, I believe, through Flowerdale, finally drop down into Kinglake West, I think it is, and then we will drop down the hill into Whittlesea, and that'll be the end of our trip, because I live in that area. So day 3, stick around. I'm not sure if the scenery will be as magnificent as what we've seen so far, but I'm sure it will be a great day. Any day when you're on the bike and you're not working or doing chores at home is a great day. So I will just say lastly, if you have enjoyed the video so far, even if you're not going to bother with the rest of it, hit that like button, please do subscribe, and drop me any comments down there. Hit the little bell if you want to see more stuff from our channel, and you will get a little notification. Okay, so stick around and stay tuned. So far it's quite a chilly day. I made the mistake of putting my thin summer gloves on, but luckily I've got the heated grips going. It's only 11 degrees this morning, but the sun is starting to break through, as you can see there. Apologies if my Sunday morning voice is a little bit croaky, but the bar we ended up in was very, very loud, and the music gets louder and louder, and you strain your voice to be heard. Oh, absolutely, I would just cut away from my boring narration. Just look at that cloud bank through there. That is absolutely fantastic. I am so glad I've got the GoPro running this morning. That is absolutely spectacular. It just sat there like a big thick duvet if you live in the UK. Still quite early, so you do have to watch for kangaroos on roads like this at this time of day. Again, I did say yesterday, they just bounce out of nowhere, and they're a lot bigger than you think they are. So just checking the TFT screen there, when you scroll through the app or the TFT interface, there's a thing called My Vehicle, a menu, and I was just checking the fuel. The range at the moment, 496 kilometers, so filled up yesterday, 30 litre tank, as you probably know, on the GSA. We've got plenty of fuel to get us home. Actually thinking about the trip home, what I'll do is I'll just put a map up here and show you the route for day 3. I'll show you starting at Myrtleford and going up slightly and then dropping down. You'll see on the map down through Mansfield area. Mansfield is a beautiful country town. It really comes alive on public holidays, so next weekend for Easter it will be absolutely chockers with four-wheel drivers and caravanners and holiday makers. Eildon is a massive lake, and it's very, very popular with water skiers and wakeboarders and jet skis, so the place should be packed out next Sunday. Hopefully if you're water skiing you're going to get better weather than this, because you're going to need a very thick wetsuit at 11 degrees outside the water, land temperature. Getting quite chilly on the bike, because 11 degrees is your sort of static temperature, and then you get in the wind chill. Luckily I've got the screen up the front, and there's quite a bit of protection on the GSA. What I am going to do is, if you look down here to my throttle hand, if you can see, I'm going to get some smoke glass extensions to those guards. That'll give you a little bit more, and then that way I can wear my summer gloves even on colder days. I am getting some protection, but if you're old school and you use the 2 fingers there to cover the front brake, then the fingertips tend to get a bit cold. The other hand, this hand touch is firmly gripped on the heated grip, so warm and toasty. Everton. Welcome to Everton. It's funny, if you've never been to Australia, you'd be surprised just how many names are actually, towns are named after English towns. So when the first settlers came out here, they named where they settled after where they'd come from, unless there was like a sort of long-standing indigenous or aborigine name for the town. So quite near where we live, well, I'll say about 45 minutes away, there are places called Preston and Blackburn and Burnley. Yeah, and you've got Everton there, you've got Liverpool and New South Wales, Newcastle, Ipswich up in Brisbane. So a lot of places are named after the UK or the English. Quite a lot of Scottish names as well. We went through a spot Friday, called Glengarry. So have you ever been to Glengarry in Scotland? Yeah, so it's when you're not used to it and you first get over here and you see those, it's quite what's the word? Quite charming, let's say. We'll use the word charming. Now then, what is my friend Peter doing? So, welcome back to the Boomerang Biker channel. Thanks for sticking along with us. We are on day 3 of our epic Great Alpine Road tour. Bit of a circular tour. We came down from Whittlesea, down through Healesville. From there, I'm just trying to remember which way we went from there. Down through Newgie, stopped at Newgie Trestle Bridge. Down towards Traralgon, then took a left. We went through Glengarry, Mafra, and ended up at Bruthen. So that was day 1. Day 2 from Bruthen. Quite an eventful day, an awesome day yesterday. Very cold and wet, but heaps of fun. From Bruthen we went over the tops of the Great Alpine Road, that's the B500. Right over Mount Hotham, which is the ski zone. Visibility, the fog was so bad we were down to about literally 20 meters, you know, crawling along at 20 k's an hour at some stages. Dropped out of the fog and continued on to Myrtleford, where we stayed last night. We stayed in a little motel. It was a bit average, and it's due for a renovation. It's called the Old Railway Hotel. I wouldn't recommend you go there until it's done up, because the pub was shut as well. So we had to get a taxi to the local drinking hole, which was great night. Consumed quite a bit, as you do on these trips, and then we had an early start this morning, so on the road for about 8 o'clock. From Myrtleford, I believe we went to Oxley that way. We just came through Whitfield, and then we hang a right over the back over the hill. We're into some great scenery now. Fantastic roads, fairly quiet. As you'll see, magnificent archway of gum trees. Hopefully it'll make for some great footage. So these types of areas, you really got to watch out for kangaroos and wallabies. Not so much wombats during the day, but I certainly would be very, very hesitant to come over here at night. So Powers Lookout, hopefully Peter's pulled in there. Actually I think I saw him in the distance. It's actually an unsealed road, and that's fine. That's what these bikes are all about. But it's early on Sunday morning, and yeah, a little bit worse for wear. So let's just cruise along.